Get ready to dream. Close your eyes, the story is about to begin. In a hidden corner of Ireland, there is a place of serenity and mystery called Lochlyre Park. This park is a haven of tranquility where nature seems to have a life of its own, full of secrets and ancient stories. With crystal clear lakes and dense forests, the park is shrouded in a morning mist that mingles with the golden rays of the sun, creating an almost mystical atmosphere. The songs of birds and the gentle rustling of leaves in the wind form a natural symphony that calms the mind and sparks curiosity. Celtic culture, rich in legends and myths, is deeply rooted in this land. The Celts, ancient inhabitants of these regions, believed in hidden worlds and magical portals that connected the earthly reality with supernatural realms. Among these worlds, Tir na Nog, the land of eternal youth, is perhaps the most fascinating. According to legends, Tir na Nog is a place where youth is perpetual and old age does not exist, a true paradise inaccessible to ordinary mortals. In the heart of Lochlyre Park, there is a place of great power and mystery, Clach na Échillad, the Stone of Treasure. This ancient stone, wrapped in legends and stories passed down through generations, is said to be one of the rare portals to Tir na Nog. Folktales speak of warriors and adventurers who sought this stone in search of a better destiny, but few have managed to find it. Those who claim to have seen the stone describe it as surrounded by an ethereal light, almost as if it were between this world and the next. Alice, a young woman who had always felt drawn to the rich tapestry of Celtic myths, decided to spend some time in Ireland. She wanted to get away from the hustle and bustle of modern life and connect with something deeper, something older. Fascinated by Celtic culture and the natural beauty of Ireland, Alice found in Lochlyre Park the perfect setting for her introspection and spiritual quest. Since childhood, Alice had felt a special connection with nature and ancient stories. Her grandparents would tell her fairy tales, stories of heroes, and magical lands, and she grew up with a sense of wonder and insatiable curiosity. As she walked the park's trails, Alice felt as though she was treading the same paths that ancient druids and warriors had once walked. She could almost hear the whispers of the trees, telling stories of times long past. The park was a place where time seemed to slow down, allowing Alice to truly lose herself in her reflections. She explored every corner, marveling at the lush flora and diverse fauna. On one particularly serene day, as she walked along the edge of one of the lakes, Alice saw something that caught her attention. In the distance, through the mist, she saw a stone that seemed to glow with a soft, almost imperceptible light. Intrigued, she approached it, feeling a chill down her spine and a growing excitement. The stone was not large, but its presence was imposing. Alice felt an irresistible urge to touch it. As she reached out and touched the cold surface of the stone, an unexpected warmth coursed through her body. A sense of peace and at the same time of anticipation took hold of her. Without fully understanding how, Alice felt that this stone was special, that she was in the right place at the right time. The contact with the stone triggered a series of events that Alice could barely comprehend. A gentle breeze began to blow, carrying with it almost audible whispers. The leaves of the surrounding trees began to dance in a harmonious rhythm, and the glow around the stone intensified. Alice felt that she was on the verge of discovering something extraordinary, something that would change her life forever. And it was at that moment that she realized that she might be on the brink of discovering the portal to Tir na Nog, the land of her dreams and Celtic legends. Alice was not an ordinary young woman. Since she was a child, she had felt a deep connection with ancient stories and legends, especially those of Celtic culture. Growing up in a small town on the outskirts of Boston, in the United States, she spent hours in the local library, immersed in books about mythology and fairy tales. Her parents, though practical and realistic, always encouraged her to follow her interests, allowing her to nurture her fertile imagination. Now, at 28, Alice worked as a children's book illustrator, a profession that allowed her to bring to life the stories she loved so much. However, despite her fulfilling career, she felt a growing emptiness, a sense that something was missing in her life. It was this restlessness that led her to plan a trip to Ireland, the land of her ancestors and the birthplace of so many of the stories that had enchanted her. Upon arriving in Ireland, Alice felt an immediate connection to the land. She stayed in a small guest house in the village of Cuchulainn, not far from Lochlyre Park. The locals, friendly and welcoming, quickly won her over with their stories and traditions. She spent her days exploring the rolling green hills, flower-filled fields, and ancient ruined castles, feeling that each step brought her closer to something she couldn't define. It was on an autumn morning, as she wandered aimlessly through Lochlyre Park, that Alice found the stone of treasure. That unexpected discovery filled her with a mix of emotions, curiosity, fear, and an excitement she hadn't felt in years. When she touched the stone, she felt a strange energy course through her body, as if the stone were alive and responding to her presence. Alice decided to return to the stone in the following days, increasingly fascinated by the mystery surrounding it. She brought a sketchbook and drew the stone from different angles, trying to capture its mystical essence. During these visits, she began to notice small changes around her. The birdsong seemed more melodious, the colors of the forest more vibrant, and the very passage of time seemed to slow down. One night, after spending the whole day drawing in the park, Alice had a vivid dream. In it, she was standing before the stone of treasure, and an ethereal figure emerged from the light emanating from the stone. It was a woman of supernatural beauty, with long golden hair and eyes that reflected the wisdom of ages past. The woman smiled at Alice and extended her hand as if inviting her to move forward. When Alice awoke, she felt a renewed determination. She needed to discover more about that place and the connection she had with it. Determined to unravel the mystery, Alice began talking to the local villagers, asking about the legends of Tir na Nog and the stone of treasure. Though many were skeptical, some village elders shared their own stories and experiences, giving her clues and fragments of information. One elderly lady, in particular, told her about an ancient ritual that could open the portal to Tir na Nog, but warned that such a journey would require great courage and sacrifice. Armed with this new information, Alice felt more prepared and determined than ever. She knew she was about to embark on a journey that could change her life forever. And so, with a heart full of hope and an indomitable spirit, she prepared to face the challenges that lay ahead, determined to uncover the secrets of Tir na Nog and perhaps find her true destiny. On a foggy morning, Alice awoke with a renewed sense of purpose. The dream from the previous night, where the ethereal figure had invited her to move forward, remained vivid in her mind. She knew she could no longer ignore the call to discover the secrets of the stone of treasure in Tir na Nog. Determined to follow the clues she had gathered, she packed a backpack with some essential supplies and set off towards Lochlyre Park, determined to find answers. Upon arriving at the park, Alice went straight to the clearing where the stone was located. The area was shrouded in a thin mist, giving the environment an even more mystical air. Alice felt a growing excitement as she approached the stone, as if each step brought her closer to a grand destiny. She knelt before the stone and began reciting the words of the ancient ritual that the village's elderly lady had taught her. Her hands trembled slightly, but her voice was firm and determined. As she spoke the words in Gaelic, she felt a change in the air around her. The mist seemed to intensify, and the light around the stone began to shine brighter. Suddenly, a gentle breeze blew, and Alice heard a nearly inaudible whisper, "Welcome, Alice. The portal is open for you." With her heart racing, she reached out and touched the stone again. This time, the light enveloped her entire body, and she felt as though she were being pulled into a whirlwind of energy. When the light finally faded, Alice found herself in a completely different place. She was in a breathtaking forest, where the trees were even taller and more majestic than those in Lochlyre Park. The leaves glowed with a golden light, and the air was filled with the sweet fragrance of wildflowers. She knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that she had crossed the portal and was now in Tir na Nog. The first being she encountered was a small elf named Ewan, who emerged from the trees with a friendly smile. He had large, bright eyes, and his pointed ears and greenish skin gave him a curiously charming appearance. "You must be Alice," he said, his voice melodic and gentle. "I am Ewan, and I am here to guide you on your journey." Alice felt a wave of relief and gratitude, realizing that she was not alone. "Thank you," Yuan, I really appreciate your help. Can you tell me where we are exactly? Yuan nodded and began to walk, indicating that Alice should follow him. We are in the Golden Forest, one of the many wonders of Tir Na Nog. This is a place where time does not flow as it does in your world. Here, youth and vitality are eternal, but there are also many challenges and secrets to be uncovered. As they walked through the forest, Yuan explained more about Tir Na Nog. He spoke of the different realms within this magical world, each ruled by a powerful and mysterious entity. Alice listened intently, absorbing every detail and feeling increasingly fascinated by what awaited her. Suddenly, a distant sound of laughter and music caught Alice's attention. Yuan stopped and smiled. It seems there is a celebration in the nearby village. This is a good time for you to meet some of the inhabitants of Tir Na Nog and learn more about this wonderful place. When they arrived at the village, Alice was greeted with enthusiasm by the residents. Fairies, elves, and other magical beings danced and sang around a large bonfire. The atmosphere was one of pure joy and camaraderie. Alice felt immediately welcomed and began to talk with several of the beings, listening to their stories and learning about their lives. A young fairy named Niev, with glowing wings and a warm smile, approached Alice. "You're new here, aren't you? I can still feel the energy of your world in you. Come, I'll show you a bit more of our village." Niev guided Alice through the houses made of wood and leaves, explaining the traditions and magic that permeated every aspect of life in Tir Na Nog. Alice was amazed by everything she saw and heard, feeling that she had finally found a place where she belonged. As the night wore on, Alice felt a sense of peace and purpose that she had never experienced before. She knew that she was only at the beginning of her journey, but the warm welcome and the wonders of Tir Na Nog filled her with hope and determination. She was ready to face any challenge and uncover all the secrets this magical world had to offer. Alice woke up early, determined to explore more of Tir Na Nog and uncover the mysteries that this magical world held. Yuan, her elven guide, was waiting for her at the village entrance. "Good morning, Alice. Today, we're going beyond the Golden Forest, to the Mountain of Memories. There is something there that you need to see." With a nod, Alice followed Yuan along the winding trail that led to the mountain. The hike was long and arduous, but the beauty around them made the effort worthwhile. As they climbed, Alice noticed that the plants and flowers changed color and shape, reflecting different seasons of the year in a single day. When they reached the top of the mountain, Yuan stopped in front of a dark cave. "This is the Cave of Memories," he said solemnly. "Inside, you will find fragments of your own story and the stories of your ancestors. It is a powerful place, but also dangerous. You must be prepared to face your deepest fears." Alice took a deep breath and entered the cave. The darkness enveloped her, and she felt an intense cold. Suddenly, images began to appear on the cave walls, as if projected by an invisible light. She saw scenes from her childhood, moments of joy and sadness, and even memories of her ancestors that she had never known. One of these images surprised her. She saw a young woman who looked very much like her, dressed in ancient clothing, holding the same stone of treasure that she had found in Lochlyre Park. The woman was surrounded by shadowy figures that whispered incomprehensible words. Alice felt a chill down her spine, realizing that her journey was connected to something much greater and older than she had imagined. As she continued to explore the cave, Alice found an old mirror. When she looked into it, she saw not only her reflection but also an aged version of herself, with eyes full of wisdom and sadness. "You must learn to face your fears and accept your true essence," the older version said. "Only then can you unlock the true power of Tir Na Nog." Suddenly, the cave began to tremble, and the ground beneath her feet started to crumble. Alice ran towards the exit, feeling panic take hold of her. She tripped on a rock and fell, but a strong hand pulled her back. It was Yuan, who helped her to her feet and out of the cave safely. "Are you all right?" he asked, concern in his eyes. "Yes, I am," Alice replied, still breathless. "But what was that? What do those visions mean?" Ewan shook his head. The Cave of Memories tests all who enter. It shows our deepest fears and truths. What you saw is a part of your journey. You must face these internal challenges to unlock your true potential. Alice nodded, understanding the importance of what she had experienced. She knew that her journey in Tir na Nog would not be easy, but she was more determined than ever to keep going. Ewan smiled, seeing the determination in her eyes. "Let's return to the village," he said. "There is more to learn and many more challenges to face." Back at the village, Alice was greeted with enthusiasm by the inhabitants. Ewan introduced her to several other magical beings, each with their own stories and wisdom to share. Among them was Aisling, a druidess with fiery red hair and bright green eyes, known for her wisdom and healing abilities. "Welcome, Alice," said Aisling with a warm smile. "I've heard about your journey and would like to help you understand more about Tir na Nog and its secrets." Alice felt an immediate connection with Aisling and accepted her invitation to learn more. Together, they explored the forest around the village, where Aisling showed Alice various plants and herbs used for healing and magic. "Every plant here has a purpose," Aisling explained. "They are part of the natural balance of Tir na Nog." During one of their walks, they came across a crystal-clear lake hidden among the trees. Aisling told Alice about the Selkies, creatures that could transform from seals into humans. "They are the guardians of the lake," said Aisling, "and they have great knowledge of the waters and the secrets they hold." Alice was fascinated when she saw a Selkie emerge from the waters. The creature, with deep and wise eyes, smiled at Alice. "Welcome, traveler," said the Selkie. "I am Laiden. I see you seek knowledge and truth." Laiden told Alice about the power of the waters in Tir na Nog and how they were connected to people's memories and emotions. "The waters here can show the past and reveal the future," said Laiden. "But you must be prepared for what you will see." Alice felt a mix of excitement and apprehension, but decided to accept Laiden's offer. The Selkie guided her to the edge of the lake and asked Alice to look intently into the water. Gradually, images began to form on the surface of the lake, revealing scenes from the past and glimpses of possible futures. Alice saw moments from her own life, but also visions of people and places she had never seen before. She saw a great battle, with magical beings fighting against dark forces. She saw herself leading a group of warriors, fighting alongside Ewan, Aisling, and Laiden. She felt a chill as she realized that her journey was intertwined with the fate of Tir na Nog. When the visions finally faded, Alice stepped away from the lake, still processing everything she had seen. "That was incredible," she said, looking at Laiden. "But also scary. What does it all mean?" Laiden nodded with a serious look. "It means that you have an important role to play here. Your arrival in Tir na Nog was no accident. You must discover your true power and help protect this realm." Alice felt the weight of Laiden's words, but also a new strength and determination growing within her. She knew she had a long road ahead, but with the help of her new friends, she was ready to face any challenge. After the battle, the village was filled with a sense of renewal and hope. The inhabitants of Tir na Nog worked together to repair the damage and prepare for possible future threats. Alice, now seen as a heroine, was frequently consulted on defense strategies and strengthening the community. During a meeting with the village leaders, Aisling suggested that they seek alliances with other realms of Tir na Nog. "We need to strengthen our defenses and create bonds with other magical peoples," she said. "Only united can we face any threat." Alice agreed and volunteered to lead the diplomatic mission. Along with Ewan and Niev, she set off on a journey to visit the neighboring realms and seek alliances. The first stop was in the realm of the waters, ruled by a wise mermaid queen named Morgana. Upon arriving at the underwater realm, they were received by Morgana and her council. Alice presented her case, explaining the need for unity and cooperation among the realms. Morgana, impressed by Alice's courage and determination, agreed to form an alliance and offer military and magical support. From there, they traveled to the realm of the mountains, where they were welcomed by King Baylor the dwarf. The dwarves were known for their skills in forging and construction, and Alice knew they could provide vital weapons and fortifications. After long discussions and negotiations, Baylor also agreed to ally with Tir na Nog. Finally, they visited the realm of the winds, home to majestic griffins. The leader of the griffins, a powerful being named Zephyr, initially hesitated to get involved, but after seeing Alice's sincerity and passion, decided to join the cause, promising aerial patrols and vigilance against any threat. With the new alliances formed, Alice and her companions returned to the village with a sense of accomplishment and hope. Preparations to strengthen Tir na Nog began immediately, with all the realms working together in harmony. In the days that followed, Alice felt an even deeper connection with the inhabitants of Tir na Nog and their new allies. She realized that she had found not only a purpose but also a new family. The nights were filled with stories around the bonfire, laughter, and plans for a better future. One night, while gazing at the stars alongside Aisling and Ewan, Alice reflected on how much she had changed since her arrival. "I never imagined I would find a place like this," she said with a smile. "And now, I can't imagine my life without you." Aisling placed a hand on Alice's shoulder. "You are part of Tir na Nog now, Alice. And we are stronger with you here." Alice felt a wave of emotion and gratitude. She knew that, no matter what the future held, she was ready to face any challenge alongside her friends and allies. Days turned into weeks, and Tir na Nog was more prepared than ever. Alice and her allies knew that a decisive battle was coming. And then, on a full moon night, the army of darkness appeared on the horizon, ready to attack. Alice, Ewan, Aisling, and the leaders of the allied realms stood on the front lines, prepared to defend Tir na Nog. The battle that followed was intense and fierce. The dark creatures attacked with unimaginable fury, but the defenders of Tir na Nog were determined to protect their land. Alice fought with extraordinary skill and courage, inspiring those around her. In a crucial moment, she found herself face to face with the leader of the dark creatures, an imposing entity known as Morkant. He was a shadowy figure, wrapped in an aura of pure evil. "You cannot win, human," Morkant growled. "This realm will be mine." Alice felt a deep fear, but also an unshakable determination. "You underestimate the power of unity and courage," she replied, brandishing her sword. The battle between Alice and Morkant was epic. Every strike, every move, was a dance of life and death. Alice used everything she had learned, every lesson from Aisling, every technique from Ewan, and every ounce of her own inner strength. When Morkant seemed to be on the verge of victory, Alice remembered the visions in the lake and found one last reserve of strength. With a decisive blow, Alice defeated Morkant, dispelling his shadowy form and freeing Tir na Nog from his threat. The victory brought a wave of relief and joy. The defenders of Tir na Nog raised their arms in celebration, grateful for Alice's sacrifice and bravery. However, the victory came at a price. Many of Alice's allies had fallen in battle, and the village was marked by destruction. Alice felt a deep sadness, but also a renewed determination to honor those who had given their lives to protect Tir na Nog. As the full moon illuminated the battlefield, Alice and her friends gathered to pay tribute to the fallen. Aisling led a remembrance ceremony, where each of those present shared words of gratitude and promises to continue fighting for the peace and protection of Tir na Nog. After the ceremony, Alice walked to a nearby cliff, where she could see the vast kingdom she had helped protect. She felt a mixture of sadness and pride, knowing that her journey was not yet over. Ewan approached silently and stood beside her. "You were amazing today, Alice," he said softly. "Thanks to you, Tir na Nog is safe." Alice nodded, unable to find words. Instead, she let the wind carry her tears, feeling connected to everything around her. She knew she had found her place, her purpose. And, with the strength of her friends and allies, she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. With the battle won and Tir na Nog safe, the village began to rebuild. The inhabitants worked together, restoring their homes and caring for the wounded. Alice, now a central figure in the community, helped wherever she could, feeling more connected to this magical world than ever. The following weeks were of healing and renewal. The alliances formed by Alice proved strong and loyal, with the realms of the waters, mountains, and wind sending aid for the reconstruction. The village flourished, with new bonds of friendship and cooperation among the different peoples of Tir Na Nog. One afternoon, while resting in the shade of a large tree, Alice was surprised by a visit from Laiden, the Selkie. "Alice, I brought a message from the waters," said Laiden with an enigmatic smile. "It is time for you to decide your next step." Alice felt a pang in her heart, knowing that Laiden was right. "I love this place," she said, looking around at the forest. "But I feel that I still have more to do in my world." Laiden nodded. "You will always have a place in Tir Na Nog, Alice. But your heart knows the path you must follow." With tears in her eyes, Alice embraced Laiden and bid farewell to her friends. Aisling, Yuan, and many others came to see her off, each expressing gratitude and promising to keep Tir Na Nog safe and prosperous. Alice returned to the Stone of Treasure, the portal that had brought her to this magical world. With one last look at her friends and the beauty of Tir Na Nog, she touched the stone and felt the familiar sensation of being pulled into another dimension. When the light faded, Alice found herself back in Lochlyre Park, in Ireland. The world seemed brighter, more full of life than before. She knew that she had changed, that she carried within her the lessons and strength of Tir Na Nog. Alice spent some time exploring Ireland, revisiting places that now held an even deeper meaning for her. When she finally returned home to the United States, she felt renewed and ready to face any challenge. Using her experiences in Tir Na Nog as inspiration, Alice began creating a new series of illustrated books, sharing the stories and magic she had found. Her books touched the hearts of many, bringing the wisdom and beauty of Celtic myths to the modern world. And whenever she felt homesick for Tir Na Nog, Alice knew she could close her eyes and remember the golden forest, the crystal clear lakes, and the friends she had made. She had found her place in the world, both in the magical realm and in the real one, and would carry that connection forever in her heart. And so, Alice's journey continued, full of hope, gratitude, and the certainty that, no matter where she was, the magic of Tir Na Nog would always be a part of her. Good night and enchanted dreams.